when I began, I watched a couple of tutorials on YouTube because I was wondering about, how can I maybe make a little money with my content. So I watched a couple of tutorials, okay, how do I open an account and, and so on and so forth. The registration, which is very different than, than opening an account by Twitter or whatever, you know, that alone was like, my gosh, I hope I don't break anything.
Well, it's scary. Come on,
It's
just say it.
scary.
It's scary.
It's scary. It was very scary. So I went very slow because I was absolutely alone. I had no one to ask, so I
Wow,
encourage
you are
people.
so bold and brave. Kudos to you.
But then I landed there in the blockchain, and now what?
Now what? Yes.
Okay, Jennifer. I mean, this is amazing. What I'm hearing, and I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. One is that the right analogy?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm a beginner, and I'm listening to you right now, I understand that I need I have a message. I want to talk about butterflies. I don't know, you know, I want to be the butterfly expert, and I want to podcast about that, right? And I have a smartphone, an internet connection. Uh, that's pretty much what I need. Well, except a blockchain account,
Mhm.
or do I need something else to get it started?
So there's two things to look at this, and this is the straddling that I do between Web 2 and Web 3.
Hmm.
In Web 2, if you want to launch a podcast, I tell folks mobile plus apps.
Hmm.
And an app that integrates the blockchain that is really, really amazing because it both pays you as a listener and it can pay you as a podcaster.
There you go.
And it's called the Fountain app. And
Hmm.
if you create your account there and listen, just go to all the podcasts that you normally listen to, but just listen to them on Fountain, you will get paid for every minute that you listen.
That's the way it's called, fountain, like a fountain pen.
Fountain.fm, just like a fountain pen or like a water feature.
Okay,
Fountain.fm.
let me write it down.
All
Okay,
right, awesome. So, and this is a cool thing because I actually have a referral code for you, and this kind of ties a little bit into getting onto the blockchain. So
hmm,
let's wrap this up. Fountain.fm, you can find it in the App Store. And you download it and you just go and listen to all the same podcasts that you listen to right now. But because you're listening to it on Fountain, for
there
the
we
very
go.
first hour of listening, they will pay you Satoshis for every minute, only an hour. And how many Satoshis? It varies. It's kind of like flipping, rolling the dice. It
Right,
could be 1 Satoshi per minute, or it could be 8 Satoshis a minute, or anything in between.
1 Bitcoin.
No, nothing crazy like that. But eventually, over time, micro
Who knows,
monetization,
right?
maybe, right?
Right.
So, for every minute per day that you listen, up to an hour, they'll pay you Satoshi. So, doing what you already do, listening to podcasts already. Now, I can refer you. I have a referral link, and what'll happen is you can also reward podcasters that you listen to have the value block in their podcast. This kind of ties into podcasting 2.0, which we don't have time to discuss, but folks, take
Right.
a look at it.
Right.
So, podcasting 2.0 allows you to add a value block where people can reward you with Satoshis for your podcast because they listen to your show and they're like, I love your show. And they can give you Satoshis. They can give you a message called a boostergram. So, if you think about listening and earning while you're listening, it's called Listen to Earn. And you collect these Satoshis every day. And then you hear your favorite podcast and you go, gosh, I love what they said at minute 12. I'm going to send them a boost and I'm going to send them a boost of the Satoshis that I earned listening for free.
Right.
And I'm going to tell them, hey, this was really amazing what you just said. Because I can also put a little message, which is why it's called a boostergram, a boost
Right.
of Satoshis and a message. And then me as a podcaster or you as a podcaster gets that notification. And it's a really beautiful way to have that value for value. Now, this ties really well into
Hmm.
both people earning for taking their action, whether you're on the engagement or listening side or whether you're the creator. Because on the blockchain, you don't just earn as a creator if people find value from your content. You can
Right.
also earn as a curator or someone who engages with content. And so, how do we get folks encouraged to look into this? First of all, as you mentioned earlier, folks need to do their own research and due diligence. You and I have done that, and we have
Right.
found Hive to be a great place for us to create
Hmm.
content. There are other places. I don't think that's the end all be all. kind of like it is, but I feel like there's so many blockchains out there we should continue to explore.
You're
But if
right.
you were to guide somebody onto the blockchain, you would use a referral link to guide them. You'd say, here's my referral link. Use this link to sign up. Why? Because that incentivizes you as a creator and to continue to guide them. Because as you and I both know, if you go onto the blockchain without a guide,
Ah,
holy smokes, it's a scary place. What do I do? What does this mean? I don't know what that word means.
it's a
Somebody did
jungle.
this. Wow, it's crazy.
It's
So
crazy.
I was lucky, me and my family were lucky that Shane, my friend, who
Hmm.
told me about Hive in March of 2021 was our guide. He's still our guide.
Right.
And when he sent us his referral link, he earns 3% on what we post. I am very happy for that to be the case because I don't know all the things and I'm happy that I have a guide. And
Right.
for him to incentivize us to post and to encourage us to post and to allow us to post, because on the blockchain, you have to earn the right to post.
Right.
He delegated us some of his power, his high power, in order for us to do that. So whenever I guide folks on, because I do courses, workshops, trainings, I have a lot of free things. I have some things that
Right.
are paid. Depends on what you want. It's all there. And so for the folks that do onboard through my referral link, I delegate them some Hive power so that they can post. And I'm their guide. They have questions. I'm the person to turn to. And it's not like as if I hadn't referred them, I wouldn't still help them. I help people all
Right.
the time that I didn't refer. That's just being a good human being and a
Right.
good steward of the community and a good community member.
Hmm.
But the value for value model, it's
Mm.
organic. You don't, it's not an extra lift. It's just
Right.
part of how it all works. It's part of the foundation of the blockchain.
Right.
And it's a really, really wonderful thing. And so if you want to straddle that Web 2 and that Web 3, you can
Hmm.
use the tools to do so and everyone can benefit from it, which
Yeah.
is why I think the blockchain is
It's a
the
win-win
democratization.
situation, right?
Yeah, it's a democratization of content.
It's amazing. I mean, it is when I began, back in April of last year. I watched a couple of tutorials on YouTube because I was wondering about, how can I maybe make a little money with my content. I mean, I do music. I different. My life talk is more about, personal development and things like that, right? So I was toying with the idea. So I watched a couple of tutorials, okay, how do I open an account and, and so on and so forth. So the registration, which is very different than opening an account by Twitter or whatever, you know, that alone was like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't break anything here.
Well, it's scary. Come on,
It's
just say it.
scary.
It's scary.
It's scary. It was very scary. So I went very slow because I was
Mhm.
absolutely alone. I had no one to ask, so I
Wow,
encourage
you are
people.
so bold and brave. Kudos to you.
I was really, so I just watched a couple of tutorials and then when I saw some confirmation, okay, I think this is legit, this is the way to go, then I went for it. But then I landed there in the blockchain, and now what?
Now what? Yes, you're
Oh my
there.
God.
And it was hard to get there. Just to
Yeah.
get to where you can now create
Right.
content there. It's like almost like you need a rest. I
Oh
need a
my God.
break. I feel winded.
Right.
So then what?
Right.
And if you don't have guides or community to support you,
Right.
it can be a lonely slog.